Today's guest is someone who builds beauty from the ground up, literally. She's a force of form, feeling, and function, born under the desert sun and raised by sharp lines and softer shadows. She's giving you Adobe elegance with architectural edge. Meet Zia, architect, interior designer, and eternal muse of minimalism, texture, and quiet power. She makes spaces feel like secrets you're lucky to be let in on. So let's open the door, take off our shoes, and step into her world. Hello, Zia. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. It's great to have this and kind of connect over another one of our founders here at Daddy's Favorite. And I thought we'd start with something kind of similarly to what we asked Lola as well, but kind of tailored more to you. So we'll start out with just a quick little, aesthetic check. If your design style had a scent, what would it be?
Ooh, a scent. Definitely very warm, very spicy, but also clean, like linen, fresh warm linen out of the dryer.
Okay. I like that because normally when I think of fresh, I think of like a more like a colder, but describing it like coming right out of the dryer, right?
Yes,
Like that's such a perfect, like warm, fresh. Okay.
exactly.
I love that. Um, on okay, another question, kind of like getting started here. Zia, one word, 3 letters. How does your name show up in your work? Like just in general, how do you find like elements of your home that come through into life or other things that you do?
So Zia means the sun. So with that same sentiment of the scent, it is warm. It's bringing warmth. It's bringing life to the space.
I love that. That's beautiful. Okay. Getting some insights here. Um, with that in mind, actually, I do kind of want to, switch from the hard lines to the soft secrets. So let's take a look. And I just want to ask you, just in general, what are you building? It could be with Daddy's Favorite, but also just in general in life. What are you building right now? Like, what are you working on?
So I would say myself. I'm speaking on my interior, actually, to say metaphorically. So that way I can present myself in the world as best as I can and start from within. Yeah.
I love that. That's beautiful. I think that's such a powerful message for everyone.
Yeah, I think everybody can take some time to do some inner work. No shame.
Oh, for especially out here in LA, yeah. Speaking of inner work and just work on spaces, internal or external, I want to kind of switch gears a little bit here. We want to transform a little bit. Now that we built the foundation, let's add a little spice. So, speaking of design and space, what is something that people forget to consider when designing a space?
I think they forget to consider how they're going to be living in it. And I mean that in the sense like how they're going to be moving through the space. Like what's going to make the most sense ergonomically, spatially. Like if the space is organized, you're not going to feel at home truly, I think.
Interesting. So you need to have function and form.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Now, with like the actual materials, then what material do you come back to again and again, and why does it still turn you on?
Well, my answer isn't going to be very coy. I want to say wood.
I'm like saying,
Yeah. But honestly, I think raw wood, like unfinished pieces of wood, really add that like warm natural element to like any space, like think more like Scandinavian designs, Japanese, it's all like natural wood, unfinished, well, for you to see.
That's a beautiful point. I like that. I know recently we went to the Japan house here and we were exploring the different styles of architecture with Japanese wood. All the different forms of hinoki, very interesting.
Yes.
Um, I would love to kind of just know also relating this a little bit to Daddy's favorite and just kind of your design theory in general. Um, what's your relationship with color? So is it a love story or is it a controlled flirtation? Or I don't know, what are you feeling with colors? Like, what do you enjoy? Like, if you were to talk about your design style or aesthetic, I know you mentioned you yourself and some of the warmth and the sun and the energy, but in terms of like the products that you design, like what elements are important to you to design for your daddy's favorite products?
Wow. I don't like anything too flashy, even though we may want to flash. But I would say I like contrasty colors, black and white,
Mm-hmm.
what like that kind of some kind
Like
of
quiet luxury kind of.
yes, or like complementary colors. Look at the color wheel, like what's across from blue, and it's yellow. Yeah. So I'm very design eye when it comes to that.
I love that. That makes a lot of sense. I do want to ask you a little bit more about kind of like the soul and sizzle of it all. So I know you mentioned a lot about kind of like your design and interiors, working on the interior and the exterior for yourself. But I'm also curious about your own home. What's the most Zia thing about your home? And then also, what's a design detail that nobody notices that you obsess over?
You, a good question. I think literally the most Zia thing about my space is we have a portrait, like a large portrait of the Organ Mountains in New Mexico. And I think that is obviously very true and literal testament to my name, Zia, Land of Enchantment, New Mexico. Um, but I think one thing about my space that I absolutely love that I think some people might not realize or take for granted is the very open layout. It's just one big space that is very welcoming and allows for room for not only like decorating but for like to have people over and create that warmth with connections.
Beautiful. Okay. Definitely, I feel like the hosting space is underrated these days.
Totally.
Where people, I feel like they don't know how to host.
Yeah. Very true. You want people to feel welcome and free,
Like, and even in your own space, like when you wake up, having that clarity of sight and space lets you like work better and live better. I
You're
think.
not shut in the dark and windows are open, light is in.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Um, now, now outside of your home, just in general, even like any space you walk into, when you walk into a space, what's the first thing that your eyes land on? Like, what do you always gravitate towards?
How tall the ceilings are. I just instantly feel it, like,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people feel it too without realizing. Like, you think, why do I feel so like suffocated almost in a way? And it's because you're in a room with 8-foot ceilings, Um,
What's like the peak, the ideal? Like, what do you think is 20?
I don't know, BP.
Well, I can see. I mean, I get that. I feel like whenever I go into like a nice museum or like a beautiful space, so
Yeah.
20 feet ceilings. That's
For a room, for a house.
okay.
But maybe even that's too cramped. I don't know. The sky,
So the bigger the ceiling, the better the vibes. Love it. Okay. Well, good to know. Um, Now I'm gonna kind of like jump forward a little bit. We're gonna talk about the future. Okay. So fast forwarding a bit. What is Zia building in the future? What's your dream project? Like, if money wasn't real, what would it be? What would you design?
Wow. I mean, besides my own home, I think like a passion project that there were no rules. So what they call like a spec house. You kind of like design, build the whole thing completely on your own terms, your own design. And it's just sort of like a project house without any other purpose in getting beside that. And then you sell it. But I mean, I'd probably just keep it and maybe it'd be my vacation home.
I love
A large land. And then maybe I'd also design a little barn, have a little farm, my animals.
That sounds like a dream.
That's definitely my dream. Yeah.
It's always been a dream of mine. I feel like to have some sort of like creative commune sort of. But like kind of like I would want to have a home that also has like a community space built into it, like a barn or like a little venue or like a little something like that where like you can invite others to come into the space
Yeah.
and just like enjoy it.
Yeah.
Whether that's like up and coming filmmakers doing outdoor movie screenings or but I love that idea of designing something and then it's just beautiful. There's no rules.
Yes, exactly. Freedom.
Freedom. Very full. Okay. Kind of similar question then, with the dream project. But if you could design a home for any fictional character, could be like someone from a TV show or movie, who would it be? And why?
Oh my gosh, I wish I could design a home for Hello Kitty.
Oh yes,
I
okay.
think she lives in London. And since she is very small and she only weighs 3 apples, I think I could have a lot of fun building her a beautiful Hello Kitty castle in the UK.
Okay. What would be some like main features of this Hello Kitty castle?
She would have a lot of fruit trees planted on the outside.
Yes.
She would have a pool with a slide. She would have a slide inside too. She'd have a big kitchen for her to cook in with her friends, and so she can have over my Melody and Rila Kuma and all of her friends. Nice. She has so many friends. So I think the space would definitely just need to be big enough to like host, and play in. There'd be a
Like
pleasure.
give gifts.
And give gifts, get gifts.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. I want to go visit Hello Kitty in London.
I think you would. Like she would be able to host you.
She would. She would host us. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Now we're coming kind of towards the end, so I do want to ask kind of like a final question here. But before we get there, I want to just kind of ask in general, you know, what are you most excited about just kind of going forward with? I know Daddy's favorite. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things we've been working on. Some of them are out there in the world, some of them are still in the vault. But what's your favorite Daddy's favorite product? Whether it's something you've already dropped or something that's still in the vault. And what are you most excited about right now?
Well, I would say the Daddy's favorite tank is perfect, especially for LA. Because a tank is layerable. You know, you could wear it in the summer just as is, be cute, little cropped, tummy out, or in the winter when it's a little chilly, just cover up. You know, wear a little jacket over, a little sweater over, but you're still always in Daddy's favorite. I would definitely say that's my most exciting project for Daddy's favorite.
I love that. I think it's so perfect too, because it's like that one that you designed, that piece, it's so kind of how you spoke about design today. It's almost like a quiet luxury. It's kind of understated where you have the contrast, the smaller font there and like the nice serif font. So it's like a
Sophisticated.
yeah, it's sophisticated. It's like the perfect I don't know, I feel like it really speaks to you as a designer as well. So thank you so much for stepping into the world of Zia. where design holds memory and minimalism still makes you feel something. You can find her work living quietly in the sun, or maybe on your Pinterest board tomorrow. So I'm Phil, and this has been another episode with one of Daddy's favorites. See you next time.